Major subclass changes as well as the final Iron Banner of the season are on the horizon. What's going on, Guardians? My name is the Black Link. And tonight is November 22nd, 2019, a Thursday. And you know what that means. It's time for this week's issue of the Bungie Weekly Blog, This Week at Bungie. And oh man, do we have some really interesting stuff to talk about this week. While the Vex offensive final assault against the Undying Mind may have been a bit lackluster in terms of the new stuff it brought to the game, we've got some really exciting news about solar subclasses and how they'll be changing in future updates. And indeed, that's where this TWAB begins, with a reworking of several ability trees tied to solar subclasses. These changes are going to be coming to the Hunter Gunslinger Way of the Sharpshooter, the Sunbreaker Code of the Devastator, and finally, the Warlock's Dawnblade Attunement of Sky. And there are some really exciting things coming in. Let's go ahead and jump right on into some of the changes we'll be seeing soon. And coming straight from the Bungie Combat Systems team, first things first, we've got the Gunslinger Way of the Sharpshooter. This is the Hunter Gunslinger Bottom Tree Path, which, as the TWAB notes here, is traditionally something that's been exclusively tied to, say, whipping out a Celestial Nighthawk to make use of the enhanced precision damage you get on supers. But in order to better differentiate this path from the 6-shot Golden Gun path that more often sees use in stuff like PvE and PvP, they've made the following changes. For 3-shot, they've increased the auto-aim distance and reliability when aiming down sights, essentially granting the Golden Gun even more long-range accuracy. And in turn, for the 6-shot super, they've shortened the damage fall-off range to emphasize the short-range gunfighter role with a lot of kill potential. Basically, with the bottom tree 3-shot, you're going to have more range and more accuracy and more aim assist, but with the 6-shooter, you're going to have that damage fall-off range happen a bit earlier. Meaning you may have to put in an extra shot or so to take down your target. And to compensate for that, they've made other changes to the Way of the Outlaw to help it keep its potency, like adding a new explosive proximity knife that can stick to surfaces and detonate when enemies pass nearby. Essentially granting you, I guess, an additional trip mine grenade in the form of an exploding knife. Overall, they're looking to make the Way of the Sharpshooter more active and rewarding for players who can fulfill the role of a sharpshooter by taking down enemies with accuracy and precision. I really like that. The way it is right now, I mean, it's kind of weird that they're adding even more aim assist to something like Golden Gun. But I will admit that right now, especially in PvE, the only time you use that Way of the Sharpshooter is when you're whipping out a Celestial Nighthawk to put one shot in on a boss. So hopefully some of these changes will facilitate more usage of that subclass in the future. But that's not the only change we've got. Next up, the new Weighted Knife. A high damage knife throw with a long windup. Travels at high speeds, bounces once, and does extra damage to the head. Here's the thing. Precision shot final blows recharge the melee completely, and one-hit precision final blows in PvP. Meaning with this weighted knife, if you aim right and you land a headshot with it, it's gonna be a one-shot kill in PvP and you're immediately gonna get that melee charge back. Oh man, can you feel it? Somewhere, Holtzman is smiling. This is a fantastic PvP change for the Way of the Sharpshooter. A lot of people, myself included, have argued that the throwing knife should be a one-shot precision kill in PvP, and I'm very happy to see that that's going to be coming back in the form of the weighted knife. Definitely a great change. Next up, we've got a quality of life change for Practice Makes Perfect. It now lasts longer, but gives a bit less energy per second. Precision hits grant 2 stacks. For those who don't know, Practice Makes Perfect is a 3-time stacking buff that increases your super recharge rate each time you get a precision hit. Like I said, that buff stacks up to 3 times and currently lasts at about 1.5 seconds, so that's going to be seeing an increase with the traded cost of giving you a bit less super energy per hit. And additionally, you're going to be getting 2 stacks per precision hit now, so you'll be building it up way faster. After that, we've got a brand new ability, Knock 'em Down. Precision final blows increase weapon stability and ADS speed. The timer starts at 10 seconds, but any additional final blows and assists can increase it up to 25 seconds. But that's not where this ends. Casting your super with this buff above 20 seconds consumes the buff, but grants you extra damage. Although this doesn't stack with Celestial Nighthawk. So basically, you get precision kills, you're going to get an increase to stability and ADS speed. And if you get enough precision kills to boost your timer on that from 10 seconds up to above 20 seconds, and then you pop your Golden Gun super, your Golden Gun's going to consume that buff and deal more damage. Which is fantastic. That means this ability is going to have great utility in the neutral game for you gunslingers out there. And you're going to have a benefit for building it up and popping your super while you've got it live. Fantastic gameplay change here. And then finally, we've got a quality of life change for the ability Line 'em Up. Basically, the old perks from Crowd Pleaser are now going to be a part of this perk. Crowd Pleaser was the thing where a Golden Gun can cause precision damage and precision shots will generate extra orbs of light. So that's just getting rolled up into the Line 'em Up ability. Again, fantastic change. But there we go. Those are the changes to the Gunslinger's way of the sharpshooter. And I gotta say, that's some pretty interesting stuff between the one-shot kill melee and PvP. The change with Knock 'em Down granting you additional stability and ADS speed. I cannot wait to try this class out when these changes go live in the game. Hopefully we get this update sometime real soon. Next up, we've got the Sunbreaker's Code of the Devastator. This is the middle tree path, meaning we've got some big changes coming for all you big hammer boys. First things first, the Roaring Flame perk has received a significant buff to its bonus damage, and the buff now lasts 25% longer, making it easier to build and retain stacks between encounters. Additionally, the base damage of the Throwing Hammer melee ability has also been increased. It's now very lethal in PvP while you have Roaring Flames active. And in addition, once you've thrown the hammer and it's lying on the ground, you don't have to get quite as close to it to pick it back up. Meaning hopefully you'll be able to pull a little bit of Thor and Mjolnir action with your hammers now. So you don't get killed quite as often trying to run out there to pick it back up. Either way, great change. Hopefully those hammer slaps can one-shot most builds in PvP with this. But next up, we've got some changes to the super. First up, Burning Maul now lasts longer, giving you more time to use it strategically instead of simply spamming the slam button. Additionally, they also increased the height of the heavy slam explosion, so this super should feel much more potent against airborne enemies. So people hopefully won't be able to escape you quite as easily when you go in there for the heavy attack. Next up, we've got some smaller changes. For Throwing Hammer, they've increased the impact damage from 100 to 120, and increased hammer pickup radius from 2 meters to 3.5 meters. They've adjusted the hammer throw animations to fit a more damaging attack. After that, we get the numbers for Roaring Flames. They've increased damage from 10% per stack to 25% per stack in PvP, and increased duration from 15 seconds to 20 seconds. Then for the Burning Maul super, they've increased the duration from 21.2 seconds to 28.5 seconds. Pretty good time frame there. Additionally, the light attack has seen a change. They've reduced light attack energy cost from 5% energy to 3% energy. Also, they've adjusted the animation so that it flows seamlessly into chain light attacks without stopping. For the heavy attack, the ground slam attack now detonates when it detects enemies above it. Detonation radius was increased to make landing attacks more consistent. And to compensate for this, they've increased the cost of the heavy attack from 6% energy to 8% energy. But there we go. Those are the changes to the Code of the Devastator for you Sunbreakers out there. Hopefully that class will get a bit more love than it does right now, because really, most of the time you see Sunbreakers out there, they're pretty much running the Hammering Strike build, so it'll be nice to see some build diversity with the middle tree. Alright, and last but certainly not least, we have got the Dawnblade Attunement of Sky. This is the top path for you Dawnblade users out there. The name of the game with this subclass has always been Air Superiority, and we're going to be seeing some changes that greatly reflect that. But first things first, we've got a bit of a jump movement change. They've actually reduced the speed at which Burst Glide accelerates players in Daybreak. Basically here, they're slowing the Warlock AC 130 down a bit. Which definitely bums me out, as that's a huge part of the fun of using this class, but we're getting that back in the form of a buff for Icarus Dash. Now, when you're in Daybreak, the Icarus Dash has increased speed and thrust to recapture the Burst Glide gameplay that you're going to be losing with the change to that jump. So hopefully you'll still come close to the kind of speed we can have in the game right now. You'll just have to use an Icarus Dash or two. As for the rest of the changes, first we've got a new ability, Celestial Fire. This is the melee. You're going to send a spiral of 3 explosive solar projectiles. Sounds pretty cool to me. The melee on Dawnblade right now was a little bit weird. There really just wasn't much to it, so I'm happy to see that we're getting a brand new melee attack. Next up, we've got a rework for the Heat Rises perk. Now you'll be able to consume your grenade to extend your glide time and dramatically reduce the in-air accuracy penalties for weapons. Now, it's kind of interesting. This is already technically kind of an ability in the game right now. If you're running the Well of Radiance build, the middle tree build for Dawnblade, you can charge up your grenades and it actually does increase your time floating in midair. It looks like Bungie's kind of taking that and reworking it into the Heat Rises ability here, with the added benefit, of course, of dramatically reducing in-air accuracy penalties on weapons, so you'll be much more accurate in the sky. Next up, we've got changes to the Winged Sun perk. Now you'll be able to fire weapons, use Celestial Fire, the new melee, and throw grenades while gliding. Airborne final blows grant melee energy and extend the duration of Heat Rises. This I love. It reminds me kind of the Devour build for Voidwalkers right now. I love it when Bungie makes a build, a set of perks and abilities on a class that feed into each other. Right now with Devour, you pop that grenade and every kill that you get restores your health to max and also builds your grenade and melee energy back up so that you can reproc Devour or use a grenade or melee ability. And I'm really happy to see that happening here with the Attunement of Sky build for Dawnblade. The entire point of the Attunement of Sky is for you to get into the air and exercise that aerial superiority. And now that you're going to have less in-air accuracy penalties, which was always kind of confusing for a class that's supposed to be in the sky all the time, plus you're going to be rebuilding up your melee energy as you get final kills, this is a great change and I cannot wait to try it out. Next up, Icarus Dash is seeing a bit of a rework. You can tap crouch twice to dodge in midair. That's right, Titans, we stole your Twilight Garrison ability and turned it into a class perk. Additionally, dodging in Daybreak accelerates players farther and costs less super energy while under the effects of Heat Rises. Now, of course, I'm joking a bit there. This has always been what this ability did on this class. But now, of course, we've got the added change of it accelerating you farther and costing less super energy when you're in Daybreak. Additionally, they note here that due to the nature of these reworks, Wings of Sacred Dawn received a buff where it gains 15% damage resistance while Tome of Dawn is active. So that's while you're floating in midair. And I think that change is a-okay, although I would have preferred a 20% damage resistance boost. But I guess that's just me. But there we go, that's it for the changes to the Attunement of Sky Dawnblade and all of the solar changes that they're covering right now. They say that there's a whole swath of changes they're working on that extend beyond these 3 subclasses, and that most solar subclasses have had some kind of tuning and some non-solar subclasses got a bit of quality of life love too. Hopefully we'll be learning more about those in the coming weeks, but honestly, I love the stuff that they've talked about here. The changes for the Gunslinger are great. I love the way that the Attunement of Sky is seeing a change for Dawnblade Warlocks as well. You guys know I play Warlock most of the time. And it'll be nice to actually have some reason to actually float in midair where usually you're kind of a sitting duck. Can't wait to try it out. But before we end this TWAB video, we have got the return of the Iron Banner, the final Iron Banner of this season, coming next week. So if you haven't gotten all of your armor done, or if you want to pick up a couple extra bits of pinnacle gear, this is gonna be your chance. Iron Banner control will be returning on November 26th and going until the following week on December 3rd. So I hope you Guardians are ready to dive once more into the breach. Additionally, they say at the end here that they'll be featuring a reprised armor set next season, which has got me kind of wondering which armor set they're going to be reprising when it comes to the Iron Banner. Of course, I'd imagine it's got to be some armor set from Destiny 2, and there's certainly been some pretty cool armor sets in Destiny 2 for Iron Banner, although a lot of those are ornaments that we already have access to in gear we've got right now. So could it possibly be an Iron Banner armor set from Destiny 1? Hey, a guy can dream, right? But alright Guardians, that is it for the biggest bits of news covered in this week's issue of the Bungie Weekly blog, This Week at Bungie. Major solar subclass changes in this one, many of which I cannot wait to test out in the game when they go live. Additionally, hopefully we'll be learning more about next season as this season rolls to a close. We've only got a few weeks left, so hopefully we'll be learning something new really soon. That's going to be it for this one, Guardians. Those are my thoughts. Be sure to leave me yours on all these solar subclass changes down in the comment section below. How do you feel about them? Was there anything you liked? Be sure to let me know. If you enjoyed the video, feel free to drop a like, make sure you subscribe, and hit that notification bell to stay up to date with all the latest stuff we're putting out. But alright, I'm out for now. Thanks so much for watching, and as always, I am the Black Link. You Guardians, stay frosty.